Hey guys, how you doing? Just on my way home from a friend's. Thought I'd do a recording, what the heck. It's becoming real obvious to everyone that Doug Ford's not going to do fuck all about this pandemic. They're just going to use their little crayon box, make little colors, all that kind of stuff. Pretend like they're doing stuff. I think the funniest thing I saw was someone straight out asked Doug Ford if he thinks about the dead or the dying. Like people, conservatives put a lot of pressure on the businesses, but do they care about the people who are dying? And Doug Ford's response was exactly what you'd expect, right? He said, of course I think about these people, they weigh on me, right? So super well coached, well done Doug Ford, you did it. Those people you don't give a shit about at all, who you don't care about, you don't think about, they weigh on you. Yeah, right. I don't believe that for a minute. Doug Ford has outright told stone cold faced lies to us repeatedly. He doesn't give a fuck about these people. If he did, he'd be acting. But yeah, the choice is between corporate power and public health. And it's pretty obvious where Doug Ford's going to land on that one. And even pretty middle of the line writers for our corporate owned media are beginning to say, like, what is happening is inappropriate. That's how badly this is going, right? That even people who publish in the corporate owned media are beginning to put pressure and say, and call it for what it is, right? This is an abandonment. That's the way it should be treated. The idea that we can't close down businesses because it'll create too much hardship when people are literally dying, like, it's an absolute absurdity. The line is as simple as this, right? Businesses come back, people don't. I'm sorry that you have to close your business for a period of time. I'm sorry that that's the way it's going. You're right, it shouldn't be happening that way, but that's how capitalism is going to collapse no matter what, right? It's just being pushed along with expediency because of the pandemic. And we can decide to put policies in place to help these people, which we're not going to do, because we would just much rather keep pretending like it's business as usual around here, when it strictly is not. And what we're getting right now, guys, without a shadow of a doubt, is exactly how capitalism is going to deal with every single crisis it faces, right? It will abandon the working class. It will abandon people. That's what it's structured to do. It will continue to promote people into positions of power who will actively seek to abandon the people who need the most help. That's what capitalism does. That's how it's structured to do things. And if we don't actually confront that, and what's even worse, right? Right now, we have a leader in power, Justin Trudeau, who is a do-nothing, right? In his entire time of office, he's done two things of merit. Made a plant legal, which should have never been made illegal in the first place. It took literally a day. And passed the CERB, which he was repudiated for by the capitalist class, and so he has no intention of doing again. And I have absolutely no problem saying, like, I've been comparing him to his father a lot, but it's actually much more fair to compare him to the previous prime minister, right? We should compare him to Stephen Harper. Who do you think was the better prime minister? Well, if you actually look at the record, you know who the better prime minister is? Stephen Harper. By a wide margin, actually. It's not small. Stephen Harper was a better prime minister than Justin Trudeau. Stephen Harper was a more progressive prime minister than Justin Trudeau. Certainly economically. Stephen Harper was the one that gave us the child care benefit. What did Justin Trudeau give us? Fucking nothing. Gave us a little tease at the CERB, said to us, yeah, sure, I could pass the basic income, but I'm not gonna. And this is what's crucial and important to understand about how capitalism operates and what it needs the populace to believe. It needs a gullible, deluded populace to believe that government power is weak, that governments are weak, that governments are incompetent, that governments can't do anything right, that governments can't do all this kind of stuff. When they passed a CERB, they got a CERB passed from start to finish in a week. It was one of the absolute most necessary and crucial pieces of legislation that has been written in my lifetime, without a question. It should be made permanent into a basic income. They did it in a week. And you're telling me the governments are weak, the governments are incompetent, the governments can't get anything done? That's just the bullshit the capitalists are selling you, right? That's just the total bullshit the capitalists are selling you, so that you'll keep voting for business class interests, so that you'll keep gullibly believing the spoon-fed bullshit lie that says that, oh no, a business is the best way of running a government. That's how government should be run, as if they were businesses. Which at this stage in the game, if you believe, you are a gullible stooge. Governments are not business. Businesses can't print their own money. Governments can't fire their citizens. Like, they are different entities, and if you attempt to run a government as if it's a business, you're going to create the disaster that we're looking at right now. And the entire logic structure of this government should be business has infected everything around us, right? We believe that money is a finite resource when it is not. The only reason we need to believe that it is a finite resource is to maintain the power of a capitalist class that threw us over the side 40 years ago. And it's becoming more and more obvious every single day that passes. Like, they do not give a shit about us except to exploit our labor. They cannot announce a lockdown because it'll lose the billionaire class a little bit of money, while the rest of us actually need to coalesce around government forces to actually look out for us, which they could do. Justin Trudeau proved that they could do it. And then immediately backed off because he's a complete complicit coward who's worse than the prime minister that was before him. Stephen Harper was a better prime minister. No question. It's not even close. Like, we got the child care benefit out of Stephen Harper. The child care benefit has kept millions of Canadians out of poverty. It has kept millions of children out of poverty. It has helped more than any other policy at alleviating poverty in the last 20 years. Came out of the Harper administration. The Harper administration that everybody shit on, that everybody screamed about. And Harper's not fucking perfect. I'm not defending Harper's record. Harper was pro-Iraq war. If he had been in power when the Iraq war happened, we would have gone to that war. Not that the Liberals have kept us out of that war, the arms sellers that they are. The reality is that the Liberals are floating by on propaganda. They're floating by on this mythical idea that they're more moral than the Conservative Party when they are not. They are the same, actually worse than the Conservative Party. Because when the Conservatives stand up and say, this is what we believe, they believe it. And they're going to act in accordance to their beliefs. But when the Liberals stand up, they're just going to tell you what you want to hear. And then they're going to do nothing about it. Which is obvious. That's how the Liberals have ruled this entire period of time. They've done absolutely nothing of merit. They've done nothing impressive. And they're worse than their predecessors. Certainly worse than the original Trudeau Liberals, but definitely worse than the Harper Conservatives. And that's how low the bar has gotten politically, you guys. That's where we're at. It's stunning. It's stunning to see. It's stunning to be a part of. It's stunning to witness the purposeful incompetence of these Trudeau Liberals. Like, at this point, it's being done on purpose. They know what to do. They understand what to do, right? The thing is that it would mean looking at their primary donorship class, which is corporate capitalists, and saying, oh, hey, we should, we're going to have to disempower these people who do no work, offer nothing of value, and they're just not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. So again, my last video, I called it "We Are the Abandoned." That's exactly what we are. We are looking at a political class that has completely calcified itself into incompetence. That it does not want to acknowledge that reality is real. That it does not want to acknowledge that the problems we are facing are serious. That it does not want to acknowledge that what we need from our political class right now is that they govern. And in the midst of all this, Doug Ford is trying to carve up more of the green belt, right? That's what he's spending his time on. This is his shtick, guys. This is his whole day, right? He stands in front of us and tells us how hard they're working to help with the pandemic, okay? And then when the cameras go off, they go do business about how to sell us out. And if you're buying the idea that he's actually giving a shit about our politics or giving a shit about how any of this is working, you're deluded. You're completely fooling yourself. And I'm so sick and tired of these media outlets and these media people constantly saying to us, oh, don't go see your friends and family, stay away from your friends and family, and then completely not reporting on the fact that we're all going to work. You notice this? Have you noticed how we're all going to work so that we can pay our bills, feed ourselves? Oh yeah, but it's going to see our friends and family. That's the real problem. It's not seeing the 200-300 people, not the 200-300 strangers a day that's the problem. That's not the problem. Oh, it's and the personal responsibility cult. Oh my God. Yeah, the problem isn't that we're all being piled in to these workplaces that are high risk for spreading this disease. Yeah, the real problem is, oh, people are being lax. Like, are you fucking kidding me? We've all by now seen this infographic that shows, like, if two people are not wearing a mask, risk of transmission is like 90%. If one person is wearing a mask, it's like 60%. If both, it's 5%. Well, if you do 5% over 300 people daily, you're going to transmit that disease. It doesn't matter how stringent everybody's being. Like, we are really an incompetent people. We are really an incompetent people. Like, we really are putting the wealth of a billionaire class that does not care about us ahead of our own public health, like our own personal health. It's staggering to watch. It's stunning to see. And I'm going to keep, I guess, reporting on it, if you want to call this reporting. I'm going to keep talking about how absolutely absurd it is that this is what we're going through. That we should be locked down. I've talked to several employees now working in these environments, and their opinion is 100% the same. We should be closed. That's not going to happen because rich people need to be rich. Fucking disgusting. All right, I'm done, guys. I hope you're having fun out there.